We are here at the Scientific Center of Dallas for a very unscientific scientific study. It's kind of scientific. I mean, it's science. It's political science. That counts as science. It's just not really done scientifically. Science. It's the best. All right, well, we're gonna play a game. Any category here where you think men are better at policy, you're gonna put a green ring. Anywhere you think women are better at the policy, you're gonna put a yellow ring.
If I think it's equal, I can leave them the same.
Right, you don't have to put a single ring down if you don't want, if you think men or women are the same across the board.
So for healthcare, I would tend to say female.
Okay.
There's that whole nurturing aspect on everything.
I'm actually gonna put men for economy.
Men's in economy.
We'll say healthcare. And you'll call it maternal instinct, maybe.
Look, this was far from scientific.
Education, I'm gonna say women.
But we did take our experiment, trying to uncover America's biases when it comes to women running for office.
Women's issue, of course, women.
And coupled it with some actual scientific political polling.
Just that one.
2,200 people across America with our partners at Morning Consult. And it turns out the results were pretty similar to what we found in person. Some respondents said men and women performed equally on certain issues, but overall, men were perceived to hold significant advantages on topics like gun policy, national security, and the economy, while women were believed to be better on subjects like healthcare, education, and climate. That was just one piece of our polling puzzle, trying to break down the bigger question: are women electable?
I know what some of you are thinking. Who is this guy to try and speak to the challenges that women face? And you're right, I'm kind of clueless. So I brought in a few women who are much more experienced on the topic.
I'm Shauna Thomas. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Ultraviolet. We're one of the nation's largest women's advocacy organization.
I'm Monica McDermott. I'm a professor at Fordham University, and I study gender and politics and political polling.
And Caroline Bai from our polling partners at Morning Consult. We got this all-star panel together to discuss what kind of questions aren't being asked about gender in politics. I mean, it's 2020, and presidential candidates are still debating if women are unelectable.
Why did you say that?
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't say it.
This question about whether or not a woman can be president has been raised, and it's time for us to attack it head on.
So our goal today is to come up with an insightful question, build some other questions around that topic, and do it all in a fair way so that we're not pushing voters to one result.
The types of polling, the types of questions that we see that really frankly frustrate us are when people are asked questions about electability, because it really signals for people that there might be a problem, right, around race or gender.
The reason I think pollsters make such a big deal about women's viability is because the question is, if it's never happened, is it really possible yet? Hillary Clinton made that very relevant because she finally came so close. She won the popular vote. And I think that in some ways Hillary actually transcended gender. She was not the first woman candidate. She was Hillary Clinton. She was so much more than just a female.
And so, my friends...
She was defined by a lot of things in that race.
She is a career politician.
Secretary of State.
Married to Bill Clinton.
Email server.
Email server. She's a
New Yorker.
liberal
New
York.
York. The Democratic establishment.
A lot of things factored into Clinton's defeat. Was one of them misogyny?
Research in political science has shown that when a woman does act as a leader and acts assertive or aggressive, which a leader needs to do, then she's seen as sort of breaking the agreement, this implicit agreement that we have on gender roles in our society.
Look, it is unfair, right, that women have to do so much more, women of color have to do so much more, right, to be seen as viable and to get elected.
There are differences in different types of offices. And thinking about women as executives, women as presidents, or governors, there are differences as well in that versus a congressional race. We know there are institutional barriers and other things, so being mindful and maybe learning more about what people perceive those institutional barriers to be in a question.
Added to the survey.
Maybe one way to get about it, if you're trying to figure out who can beat Donald Trump and whether gender plays a factor in it, is to go at it in terms of who has the best chance against Donald Trump on a variety of levels. Like, who would they see as the strongest debater up against Donald Trump on the stage?
Added to the survey. So the next step, working with Morning Consult to poll 2,200 U.S. adults online. And here's what they told us. When asked to rate the overall performance of male politicians versus female politicians, nearly twice as many people scored women as excellent. And when we gave them generic candidates and asked how they thought they'd perform challenging Donald Trump, a fictional female senator scored better than a fictional male on almost every single category, from working with the media to appealing to young voters to standing up for his or her policies. Yet, the 2020 Democratic field has again been dominated by dudes.
Do you believe that the men in this race have a better chance of beating Trump solely because of their gender?
I believe they may think so, but they'd be wrong.
So, are women electable? Yes. They might just have to overcome more. It's similar to the challenges minorities have faced in climbing the political and corporate ranks.
When I made partner at a law firm, the statistical probability of an African American making partner at a major firm was less than 1%. And so you not only come with the gender bias, but then there's also the racial bias.
Sean Brown has worked her way up to a vice president role at the Kimberly-Clark Corporation. She's also the chair of the nonprofit Texas Women's Foundation, whose mission is to empower girls and women.
I often explain it to people that when you walk into a boardroom or when you walk into a courtroom, there's a certain gender and a certain race that comes with a presumption of competence, ability, and capability. And when I walk into a room, I don't enjoy that same presumption of competence, ability, and capability. I'm very willing and able to prove it very quickly, but the fact that I have to tells me that we have a long way to go.
That bias was evident when we asked America if women were better at collaborative roles, like a congresswoman or board member, or leader roles that execute on policies, like a president or CEO. Executive got just 25%. It's not easy to change culture.
What do you want someone like me to know? Someone who's never had to face these challenges, who's never had those same kind of barriers?
You know, I think all of us have our strengths, and so I would encourage you, or someone who would think in that way, to look at each person individually for whatever strengths they bring to the table.
Look around. There are plenty of qualified women, both in politics and in corporate America. Brown says the first step toward a solution is encouraging those women to step up.
You have to be that aggressive or assertive to raise your hand and say, I'm the one, because you've done such good work. And a lot of times good work doesn't always speak for itself. You also have to advocate for yourself. There are more women who are willing to speak out about issues, and there are more women who are willing to reach down and make sure that our young girls who are coming behind us will have the exact same opportunities and more than we had as we did when we were growing up.
She's not wrong.
Do you think there are certain jobs that girls are better than boys at?
No. I think they're all equal.
Our little survey may have been unscientific.
Yeah, the future is women.
But we all learned from it.
Do you think that you're going to see a woman president in your life?
Yeah, sure.
Soon?
I think so. I mean, if they want to.